What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. To focus in, continuing our team season previews with the Tampa Bay Lightning today. As obviously Tampa was early on one of the most active teams in the off season. Still haven't signed Nikita Kucherov. We'll get to that at some point in this piece. But you look at it. 6 months ago, there was a better than zero chance. I'd say about a 75% chance that I'd be doing this piece on August 6, 2016, talking about how Steve Yzerman traded away Jonathan Drouin and let Steven Stamkos walk as a free agent. Oh, wait, he called Drouin's bluff, and then Drouin came back and was excellent in the playoffs, and then Steven Stamkos took less than market value to stay in Tampa. Advantage Stevie Y. Now, we could also be having this discussion where he signed those guys, but Victor Hedman's going to walk. Locked him up for less than market value as well. Now, with all these big contracts, and I think Drouin's going to get a nice extension, pretty soon. There's going to be some cap issues in Tampa, and I think that's part of why Kucherov still isn't signed. But take care of your best players, your big guns, and then let everything else just kind of deal with that as it happens. Essentially, like I said, the Chicago Blackhawks model of building a team. So Stevie Y, wheeling and dealing early on, got them to a point now where, they're, as far as I'm concerned, one of the four teams that I think win the Eastern Conference. Obviously, they're state mates in South Florida. I think the Florida Panthers are in that mix. I think Washington's in that mix. I think Pittsburgh's in that mix. Islanders and Rangers kind of wild cards. I know someone's going to start throwing different teams at me, but those are the four teams right now that I can see winning the Eastern Conference. Tampa, Florida, Washington, and Pittsburgh. So let's look at Tampa, shall we? Talk about Pittsburgh later. Ben Bishop, he's still there. 30 years old, pending unrestricted. He'll be 30, in November. Pending unrestricted free agent. I think they're going to obviously open camp with him. He's going to be good to go for the U.S. at the World Cup of Hockey. And, I think they'll split with him and Vasilevsky. If Vasilevsky is able to excel in, his playing time, and, a team, let's just say St. Louis, Bishop's old team, his hometown team, let's just say Jake Allen can't carry the load. Bishop's a rental goalie for them. They'll give up an asset. Yzerman's then able to, ascertain some cap space, move some pieces around the board. So that's something to obtain, not ascertain. That's something to keep an eye on. But right now, I would be absolutely shocked if Ben Bishop is not on Tampa's roster opening night. And again, the St. Louis thing was just hypothetical. Insert any team in the league that could potentially have a goalie problem. We'll see how that situation kind of plays itself out. But again, just something to keep an eye on. On defense, we know Victor Hedman's in the fold long term. Their biggest trade candidate back there is Jason Garrison. I think they will definitely be, listening to offers for Garrison. I mean, he's a serviceable, very good NHL player, hell of a shot from the point. So, again, I think in an ideal world, they'd like to keep Mr. Garrison, as they're selling the guy from South Park. But if an offer presents itself, I think that'll be, something they pursue. They've got some good youth back there, too. Obviously, I run hot and cold with Slater Koekkoek, but, I think he's going to be poised to make the team and, do some pretty cool things and get, good minutes for Coach Cooper and Nikita Netesterov, who will be on Russia's World Cup hockey team. But all those guys are great. Really, the most important defenseman outside Hedman is Anton Strawman, and we saw how the team played differently without him in the lineup. And I look back at my piece when they signed him to that deal 2 years ago, and I liked it then, and I really like it now. I think he's one of the best bargains in the NHL, quite frankly, and a guy that really can play in and excel in all situations. And he's really a guy going back to when he was with the Rangers. I don't think got the credit he deserved. And the Rangers team was always pretty deep, obviously on defense. Ryan McDonough, he's a stud. Mark Stahl was still serviceable. Dan Girardi didn't suck yet. So Strawman was kind of, I guess, lost in the shuffle. I think that's the best way to word it. But my God, I think the Rangers. They were a better team with him in the lineup, which is like saying the sun rises in the east. And again, Tampa's better for having him, and if he's healthy this season, I like their chances Obviously, again, we saw what it looked like without him in the lineup last year. So their defense, excellent. Goaltending's excellent. Forwards, anytime you have a 60 goal scorer up front, you're doing okay. Just gonna throw that one out there. Obviously, Steven Stamkos has signed a long-term extension. He's gonna be healthy. He came back, obviously played in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, and I think he'll be chomping at the bit to get back out there and show that he is one of the better players in the NHL and justify the contract extension that he got from Tampa. The second, I think, best forward they have, Nikita Kucherov. Again, he's still unsigned. I think a deal will be done before camp opens, and I think it'll be 6 or 7 years, between 6 and 7 million. Just kind of throwing those numbers out there, but I think those are reasonable, rates. I mean, you look at Philip Forsberg, got a 6 years at 6, and I think that's a good comparable. I think Kucherov's a little bit more polished offensively, so take that for what you will. But going a step further, I think Valtteri Filppula, he's a trade candidate. Again, clear some cap space because there are going to be some guys that need new contracts. This next off season. Tyler Johnson, Kucherov. Obviously, Kucherov's still being unsigned right now. Johnson, Palat, Drouin. There's going to be some guys that are going to need some money, and if you can move Filppula's contract off the books, that'll help you out. And the team's going to be without Ryan Callahan. I know to open the season, and I know people are going to, snicker, oh, he's a deadweight contract, and well, you're not totally wrong. The team definitely, I think, when he's at his best, the team's better. I know, again, that sounds like overly like no shit Sherlock, but again, I think when he's bringing his grit and presence around the net, presence in the corners, and putting away those garbage opportunities. I think that obviously the team's much better off, and because he gives them a little bit of everything. And if he's, I don't think he was healthy most of last season. If he comes back, let him take his time to come back. If he's not back till December, who gives a shit? Your objective, quite frankly, in Tampa isn't about games 1 through 82. For the Tampa Bay Lightning, their season starts in the playoffs. To get this team healthy when April and May roll around, because I think they'll be playing hockey in Tampa, Florida, long into the spring and summer. And you look at how great of an organization they have from Mr. Vinnick is a phenomenal owner. We know how great Stevie Yzerman is, at running a team, and John Cooper, obviously one of the best coaches in the league, and friends with Charles Barkley, which is you can't undersell that. Anytime Charles Barkley refers someone as their friend is pretty sweet. My friend Coach Coop. So again, I like this team. I think them and Florida will be neck and neck for the Atlantic Division. And, we'll see what happens. And it, again, doesn't matter who really wins the division, because with this Lightning team, they've proven they can play well in the regular season. They've proven they can go on lengthy playoff runs. Now it's time to bring the cup back to Tampa after it'll be 13 years since they won it in 04. This summer. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's all I got. So to the Power Play with CJ. Stay tuned for more episodes throughout the off season and beyond. Later, guys.